Have you ever wondered why some people stay completely calm, even when everything around them is falling apart? Why do certain individuals seem untouchable, unbothered by insults, setbacks, or the opinions of others, while the rest of us feel like we're constantly reacting, struggling to keep it together? If you've ever felt like life has too much control over your emotions, this video might be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. What if I told you that your reactions aren't caused by the world, but by what's hidden inside you? In this video, we're going to uncover the powerful truth that Carl Jung, Stoic philosophers, and even modern neuroscientists agree on. Your peace doesn't depend on the outside world, it depends on your inner mastery. You'll learn how to stop giving your power away to people, situations, and even your thoughts. We'll explore the unconscious triggers that quietly sabotage your happiness and show you how to rewire your mind to become truly unshakable. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why emotional chaos keeps showing up in your life, you'll know how to break free from it for good. So, stay with me, because what you're about to discover might just change everything. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. This, my friend, is what many now call shadow work, and let me tell you, it's not easy, but it's one of the most powerful and life-changing journeys you'll ever take. It's the sacred, courageous act of pulling back the curtain on your unconscious mind. It's about bravely shining light into the dark, forgotten corners of your soul and realizing sometimes painfully that every irritation, every frustration, every emotional trigger you've experienced is a message from within. Yes, within. Not from the person who offended you, not from the job that stressed you out, not from the ex who broke your heart. It's your inner self, your deepest wounds trying to speak to you. But here's the thing, most people run from these signals. And I get it. Who wants to sit with emotional pain, with childhood trauma, with old heartbreaks that never fully healed? So we numb it, we bury it, we lash out, or we point the finger at everyone else. We say, they made me feel this way, when the truth is, they only uncovered what was already buried inside. The rare souls who wake up come to a gut-wrenching but liberating realization. The world outside of you is just a mirror reflecting your inner state, your fears, your beliefs, your insecurities, and your truth. And the moment that realization sinks in, when you stop blaming and start observing, you unlock something extraordinary. Something most people will never access in their entire lifetime. The ability to shape your external world by mastering your internal one. And here's the hard truth, most people don't want to hear that. They'll argue, deflect, or shut down. Why? Because it's far easier to believe that your pain was caused by your boss, your ex, your parents, the economy, or just bad luck. It's more comfortable to say, life is unfair, than to say, maybe I've been giving away my power all along. But if you are among the few who are bold enough to look inward instead of outward, if you dare to stop reacting and start responding consciously, then a whole new kind of freedom begins to rise in you. And let me tell you, it's breathtaking, because when you stop reacting, you stop being controlled. You no longer need to avoid negative people. You don't need to change your environment or protect your peace by running from life. You become immune, not numb, not indifferent, but calm, grounded, and completely unshakable. You become a force, not cold, but clear, not distant, but centered. You're no longer living in the illusion of control. You're living in the power of letting go. And here's what so many people get wrong. They spend their entire lives trying to control the uncontrollable. They chase approval. They crave predictability. They beg the universe to follow the script they wrote in their heads. And when life dares to go off script, they spiral. They feel betrayed, angry, lost, as if the whole world is plotting against them. But here's what changed my life. The only thing you will ever truly control is your perception. That's it. Carl Jung understood this with crystal clarity. The world outside of us is not good or bad. It's not cruel or kind. It just is. What makes it feel like heaven or hell is how we see it, the lens we wear without even knowing. Two people can experience the same heartbreak, the same loss, the same failure, yet walk away with two radically different realities. One falls into despair, crying, "Why me?" The other rises, saying, "What is this teaching me?" The difference is never the event. It's always the perception. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." And that quote, it hits deep. Because as long as you don't know, the stories you're telling yourself about love, about success, about your worth, you will keep playing them on repeat. You'll keep reacting like a puppet on strings, thinking life is just happening to you, not realizing it's happening through you. And here's where it gets powerful, and honestly, a little scary. The more you try to control the world outside, the more you hand over your emotional well-being to things you can't control. The second you need someone to respect you, you give them power. The moment you need a situation to go your way, it starts owning your peace. The second you demand fairness from life, you're already primed for disappointment. But when you finally let go of that illusion of control, everything changes. You break free from the addiction to validation. You release the fear of failure. You dissolve the inner pressure to force life into a perfect, rigid mold. And suddenly, your nervous system starts to relax. You exhale. You exist without anxiety chasing you. You flow with life instead of fighting it. And ironically, that's when life starts flowing back to you. Think about it. The people who seem truly untouchable, it's not because they control everything around them. It's because they've learned to control what's inside. They don't flinch when things fall apart. They don't crumble under pressure. They don't beg for approval because they know where their power is. They've discovered the greatest secret. True power isn't in force, it's in surrender. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you stop needing things to go your way, they often do. When you stop fearing judgment, confidence rises naturally. When you stop chasing success out of desperation, opportunity starts coming to you. Life softens when you soften. Reality responds when you release. And this isn't just spiritual fluff, it's backed by neuroscience. Studies in cognitive psychology show that the more we cling, the more resistance we create. That's why desperate love repels. Why fear-based control suffocates. Why micromanaging everything leaves us more burned out than fulfilled. So here's the question I'll leave you with. Are you living in constant reaction? Or are you choosing to respond from inner clarity? Because once you truly understand that nothing outside of you has power over your inner world, life stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like peace. That is the game changer. That is the awakening. And that, my friend, is the beginning of becoming untouchable. The untouchable mind. How to be unshaken by anything. Picture this for a moment. You're walking down the street, lost in thought, enjoying a moment of peace when out of nowhere, someone hurls an insult at you. Maybe they call you foolish, weak. Maybe they say something cruel like, "You'll never amount to anything." Now stop and ask yourself what happens inside of you in that split second. For most people, the reaction is immediate and intense. My heart starts pounding. The jaw tightens. Anger floods the system before the mind even has time to catch up. That one insult loops in your head like a broken record, feeding the fire of self-doubt and frustration. It consumes your peace, and without realizing it, you've handed your power over to a stranger. But now, imagine a completely different response. Imagine this time you feel nothing. No racing heart, no defensive thoughts, no surge of emotion, just a deep, steady breath and a quiet inner awareness that whispers, "That has nothing to do with me." That's not denial. That's not numbness. That is power. That is the very essence of what the Stoics taught. It's the clarity Zen masters lived by, and it's what Carl Jung understood at the deepest level of human psychology. Nothing external can disturb your peace unless you permit it. Let's go even deeper, because this is where most people miss the mark. Why do we get so easily triggered by others? Why do certain words cut so deep? It's because we are still clinging, whether we realize it or not, to a fragile, constructed self-image. One that is built not on truth, but on opinions, past wounds, and a desperate need for validation. We wrap our identity around how others see us, what they say about us, and how we believe life should go. And so, when someone challenges that image, it doesn't feel like just an insult, it feels like a threat to our very sense of self. Jung called this hidden, vulnerable part of us the shadow self, the quiet, dark corner of our psyche, where we bury our deepest fears, our insecurities, and the pain we never truly dealt with. When someone triggers us, they're not creating that pain, they're revealing it. They're holding up a mirror to a wound that already existed. Think about that. If you were truly grounded in self-worth, completely at peace with who you are, then someone calling you a failure would be like shouting at a mountain. It would echo into silence. It wouldn't stick, because there would be nothing inside you for it to latch onto. It would pass through you like a breeze through an open window, felt, but never held. So the real question is not, why did they say that? But why did it affect me so deeply? If someone calls you a failure, does it hurt? Because deep down you secretly believe it might be true. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. If someone disrespects you, does rage rise because you're still chasing recognition you haven't given yourself? If life takes a wrong turn, do you unravel because you're still gripping a version of how things were supposed to go? It's not the world, it's the way you see yourself. And here's the truth. I wish more people understood. Real power doesn't come from silencing critics or dodging every uncomfortable situation. It comes from building a mind so rooted in truth, so secure in itself, that no outside chaos can shake it. This is the unshakable mind. It doesn't beg for approval. It doesn't collapse when things go wrong. It doesn't flinch in the face of uncertainty. It breathes. It watches. It responds with wisdom, not reactivity. It's the kind of mind I've come to believe is not just powerful, it's necessary for peace in today's world. Because once you truly understand that no one, no situation, no insult, no moment of rejection can steal your peace without your consent, you unlock a freedom that most people never experience. The world doesn't get quieter. The chaos doesn't disappear. But you become the calm in the middle of it. And that is the kind of strength that doesn't roar, but stands. Quiet, centered, untouchable. All control begins and ends with perception. And this isn't just a beautiful idea reserved for philosophers or spiritual seekers. It's not some lofty, abstract ideal to ponder in silence. It's science, pure and proven, grounded in psychology, backed by neuroscience. Research shows that emotional reactivity is not who you are. It's a habit, a learned response. Your brain, like any powerful machine, is designed to repeat what it knows. It builds pathways based on repetition. If you constantly respond to stress with panic, to insults with anger, to uncertainty with fear, your brain gets good at doing just that. It becomes second nature. The more you allow the outside world to dictate your emotional state, the more you train your brain to hand over your peace to everything and everyone outside of you. But here's the miracle in all of this, and it gives me chills every time I think about it. You can retrain your brain. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not doomed to feel triggered, small, or powerless forever. Through practices like mindfulness, cognitive reframing, and consciously leaning into discomfort, instead of avoiding it, you can actually rewire your brain. You can reshape how you experience the world. And what happens when you do? The insults that once cut like knives start bouncing off like rubber. The failures that used to define you become stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. The uncertainty that once left you paralyzed now becomes an invitation to grow. At that point, you no longer live at the mercy of the world. You don't flinch when someone disrespects you. You don't spiral when plans fall apart. You don't crumble under pressure or chase approval like a thirsty soul because you've stopped living in reaction. You've stepped into a conscious response. And that's when something extraordinary happens. You become untouchable. Not because the world suddenly got easier, not because people stopped being rude, not because life gave you a break, but because you changed. Your relationship with yourself shifted, and that changed everything. Now here's the part that blows my mind every time I reflect on it. We walk around thinking we're reacting to the world, to events, people, chaos. But in truth, we're almost always just reacting to ourselves, to our own beliefs, to our wounds, to the stories we carry like invisible scars. Think about it. Someone insults you. Their words feel like daggers. You feel your chest tighten, your face flush, and your inner voice starts to shout. But if you pause, ask yourself, where does the pain live? It's not in the words. It's not in the air between you and them. It's in the meaning you gave it. It's in what those words touched within you. It's the wound they brushed against, the story they triggered, the old version of you that still wonders if they're right. It's a shame you haven't healed, the rejection you never made peace with, the voice in your head that still whispers, maybe you're not enough. That's where the pain lives. Carl Jung understood this with piercing clarity. He said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. That quote is simple but haunting because it forces us to look in the mirror when we'd rather point fingers. It tells us that every time we're triggered, there's a part of us that still needs healing. Every time we overreact, there's a shadow asking to be seen. Every time someone makes us feel something, maybe, just maybe it was already there, waiting to be acknowledged. And that is the truth most people run from. It's uncomfortable. It's raw. It's humbling. But it's also liberating. Because when you finally stop blaming the world and start listening to what your emotions are trying to teach you, you begin to reclaim something that was always yours, your power. And from that moment forward, life stops feeling like a battlefield and starts becoming a mirror. Not a mirror of pain, but a mirror of transformation. Nothing, absolutely nothing outside of you holds power unless you hand it over. Read that again. Let it sink in. This truth is so simple yet so revolutionary, it could shift the entire way you experience life. Because the world, in all its noise and chaos, is not what's holding you back. It's you and the power you unknowingly surrender to things, people, and situations that were never meant to define you in the first place. Let me paint it like this. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. Suddenly, your reflection frowns. Would you yell at the mirror? Of course not. You'd know instinctively that if the image is frowning, it must be because you are. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And yet, when life reflects our inner turmoil, when someone triggers us, when circumstances don't go our way, we don't stop to check our energy. We don't ask, what am I holding inside? Instead, we blame. We point fingers. We demand the world behave differently, all while missing the most life-altering realization. The outer world is simply a mirror of what's already within. The real question then becomes, why do we give so much power to things outside of us? And the answer is painfully human attachment. When your identity is tied to what others think of you, how successful you appear, whether you're liked or validated, or if life is unfolding the way you imagined it, means your sense of self is constantly at risk. It means you're handing your peace, your worth, and your emotional state to something fragile, fleeting, and uncontrollable. And that will exhaust you. Because as long as your happiness is dependent on things going right, you'll always live in fear of things going wrong. You'll always be at the mercy of people's opinions, their moods, their acceptance, or their rejection. It's like living on a roller coaster you didn't ask to ride. But what if you chose to stop playing that game? What if, instead of automatically reacting to every emotional jab or external disappointment, you became something much more powerful, the one who observes? You see, detachment isn't about becoming cold, indifferent, or emotionally shut down. Not at all. Detachment is about becoming unshakable. It's realizing that you are not your anger, you are not your anxiety, you are not your sadness or insecurity. You are not even the thoughts that rise inside you in moments of panic or pain. You are the awareness behind them. Think of a storm. The thunder crashes, the wind screams, and the lightning rips across the sky. It's chaos, but above it all, above the storm, there's the sky, vast, calm, untouched. You are not the storm, you are the sky. And when you finally realize that, something extraordinary happens. You stop trying to control the world and instead begin to master how you see it. You stop reacting from fear and start responding from wisdom. You stop needing everything to go perfectly and start trusting yourself to remain calm even when it doesn't. Because here's the truth that hits hard but heals deep. The moment you stop reacting, you start reclaiming your reality. And people feel that. They sense when you've taken your energy back. They notice that they can't pull you into drama, can't rattle you with gossip, can't trigger you with manipulation or judgment. They can't hijack your peace anymore because it no longer belongs to them. It belongs to you. And that's when you step into a new kind of presence. One that radiates calm, one that commands quiet respect, one that doesn't shout but is deeply, unmistakably felt. So, how do you get there? How do you cultivate this untouchable presence? It begins with one powerful shift: awareness. A radical inner awakening where you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What inside me is reacting to this?" It's in that space between the stimulus and your response where your freedom lives. And once you tap into it, you don't just change how you feel. You change how the world responds to you. Here's a truth that can shake your entire worldview in the most freeing way possible. You've never actually been reacting to the world. No, not the traffic jam, not the rude comment, not even the heartbreak. What you've been reacting to all along is your mind's interpretation of it. Let that settle for a moment, because it's not the event itself that hurts you. It's the story your mind attaches to that event. Think about it. Two people experience the same thing. Let's say a stranger bumps into them on a busy sidewalk. One brushes it off without a second thought, continuing their day in peace. The other, they fume for hours, replaying the moment over and over in their head, feeling disrespected, targeted, and angry. Same event, same bump, completely different emotional reality. Why? Because it was never about what happened, it was always about what it meant to the person experiencing it. This is why perception is everything. This is why two people can walk through similar storms and come out with entirely different stories, one of empowerment, one of devastation. Carl Jung understood this on a level most of us are only beginning to grasp. He spoke often about the shadow self, the parts of us we try to hide, deny, or bury. The pieces of our psyche that carry old wounds, childhood fears, unprocessed pain, and lingering shame. The parts we've pushed into the darkness because they feel too heavy, too messy, too painful to face. And yet, it is these very hidden forces that end up silently running our lives. Why do certain words feel like knives to the soul? Why does a simple comment from the right or wrong person ignite rage or insecurity so easily? Why do we sometimes react with more intensity than the situation deserves? Because someone at that moment isn't wounding you, they're exposing a wound that was already there. They're not the cause of your pain, they're the trigger that makes it visible. And this is why certain people seem to affect you more than others. It's not because they're more powerful. It's not because they're right. It's because they're unknowingly pressing on unhealed parts of you. Parts you haven't fully accepted, forgiven, or made peace with. It's not their voice you're hearing. It's your inner critic being echoed back to you. And that realization, while uncomfortable at first, is actually where freedom begins. Because once you stop seeing emotional reactions as something that just happens and start recognizing them as messengers from within you, unlock the power to heal, grow, and ultimately become the kind of person who no longer reacts, but responds with clarity. You stop living in survival mode and start living in awareness. And the best part, once you begin this journey of reclaiming the lost parts of yourself, the shadow parts, you stop being easily triggered. You stop being thrown off course by other people's behavior. You stop letting the world pull your strings because now you know where the strings are. Now that we've walked through this powerful journey together, let me ask you, what spoke to your soul the most? Was there a moment that made you pause and reflect? Maybe a sentence, a truth, or even a quiet realization that whispered, "This is me." If you've made it this far, you're not just casually watching videos. You're ready for real change. And that kind of willingness, that's rare. That's sacred. So I want to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned from this video that you're going to bring into your life starting today? It could be as simple as pausing before reacting, or as deep as exploring your own shadow self. Type it in the comments below. Let the world see that awakening is happening right here, right now, in you. And if you found even one truth in this video that helped you breathe deeper, see clearer, or feel stronger, please leave your comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And hit that bell so you never miss a moment of soul, deep wisdom. This is just the beginning of your untouchable journey. We're honored to walk it with you. Until next time, stay rooted, stay aware, and remember, your peace is your power.